Once, nestled in the serene foothills of a distant mountain range, there was a peaceful Buddhist monastery. The monastery, surrounded by the beauty of nature, was meant to be a sanctuary, a place of spiritual growth, meditation and tranquility. Here, under the wise guidance of a revered master, monks dedicated themselves to learning the principles of mindfulness, compassion and inner peace. Their days were filled with meditation and contemplation, designed to bring them closer to enlightenment. Yet despite its idyllic setting, the atmosphere within the monastery was less harmonious than one might imagine. As time went on, many young monks began to stray from the virtues they were meant to uphold. Gossip crept into their conversations, turning what should have been uplifting dialogue into a flurry of whispers and rumors. Each day, some monks would speak unkindly about others, criticize their peers, or find fault where none needed to be found. Over time, this negativity grew, casting a cloud over the once serene environment. What was meant to be a haven of calm was gradually tainted by division and distraction. In this setting lived a young disciple who was particularly disturbed by the changes he noticed around him. He felt out of place among the monks, weighed down by their gossip and unkind words. He had come to the monastery with the hope of finding peace, but instead, he found himself feeling stifled and trapped by the negativity that surrounded him. Each day, it seemed harder to focus, harder to meditate, and harder to find inner calm amidst the constant noise of criticism and rumor. It was as if a heavy weight pressed down on his heart, making it impossible for him to achieve the peace he so deeply desired. Eventually, the young disciple decided that he could bear it no longer. Desperate for advice and relief, he sought out his master, who was known for his deep wisdom and compassion. Approaching the master with a heavy heart, the disciple bowed respectfully and expressed his inner turmoil. "Master," he began, his voice filled with frustration and disappointment, "I can no longer endure the negativity in this monastery. It feels overwhelming, as if I'm surrounded by an endless cloud of gossip and bitterness. This environment has become too toxic, and I can't find the peace I came here to seek. I wish to leave and find a place where I can meditate and focus without these constant distractions." The master, who listened with a calm expression and eyes that held a timeless wisdom, nodded slowly. He could see the disciple's struggle and understood the weight of his troubles. After a moment of reflection, the master spoke softly, choosing his words with care. "I understand your concerns," he said, "but before you leave, I ask one last favor of you. Will you do one small thing for me?" The disciple, eager to escape the toxic environment, nodded immediately, willing to do whatever was required. The master handed him a spoon filled with water, instructing him, "Take this spoon and walk around the monastery grounds. Keep the spoon steady and make sure not to spill a single drop of water. Once you have completed this task, you may leave for a more peaceful place if you still wish to do so." Without hesitation, the disciple accepted the challenge, determined to fulfill his master's request as a final act of obedience. He took the spoon carefully, holding it as steadily as he could, and began his walk around the monastery. He moved with utmost caution, keeping his eyes focused on the spoon, making sure not to spill even the smallest drop of water. Step by step, he walked slowly and deliberately, his entire attention fixed on keeping the water steady. As he walked, the disciple's focus grew sharper. Each step required complete concentration, leaving no room for distractions or stray thoughts. Hours passed as he circled the monastery grounds, moving through gardens, corridors, and hallways. Although monks and other people passed by, he was so immersed in his task that he scarcely noticed them. Their conversations, laughter, and chatter faded into the background, becoming little more than distant noise. All that mattered was the spoon and the water it held. Eventually, After what felt like an eternity of walking, the disciple returned to the master with a sense of accomplishment. The spoon remained full, and not a single drop of water had been spilled. He felt a surge of relief and pride as he showed the master that he had completed the task without error. "Master," he said, "I have done as you asked." I walked around the monastery without spilling any water. "May I leave now?" The master smiled gently, his gaze soft yet penetrating. "Tell me," he asked, "while you were carrying the spoon, did you hear any gossip or notice any negativity among the other monks?" The disciple paused, reflecting on his journey around the monastery. He realized with a sudden clarity that he hadn't heard or noticed any of the distractions that usually troubled him. His entire attention had been so focused on keeping the water steady that he hadn't been aware of anything else. "No, master," he replied thoughtfully. "I was so focused on the spoon that I didn't hear or notice anything around me." The master nodded, his smile widening with a gentle wisdom. "You see," he began, "this monastery, like any place in the world, has its own share of distractions and challenges. But when you focus on what truly matters, these distractions fade away. If you keep your mind focused on your path, the noise and negativity around you will become nothing more than background noise." He continued, "Wherever you go in life, you will encounter people who are unkind, who gossip, and who bring negativity. But if you are dedicated to your own journey, you can rise above these distractions. Just as you kept your focus on the spoon, you can keep your attention on your purpose, allowing the distractions to fade into insignificance." As the disciple listened to his master's words, a new understanding began to dawn within him. He realized that peace and clarity did not come from escaping difficulties or finding the perfect place. Rather, true peace came from within, from his own ability to focus on what was truly meaningful and let the rest fade into the background. The disciple thanked the master and decided that he would not leave the monastery after all. With this newfound wisdom, he understood that he could achieve inner peace no matter where he was, as long as he stayed focused on his spiritual path. He resolved to practice mindfulness, not just in meditation, but in his daily life, keeping his mind anchored to what truly mattered. From that day on, he walked through the monastery with a calm and focused mind. Gossip and negativity no longer disturbed him, as he had learned to keep his attention on his own growth and not allow outside distractions to sway him. The atmosphere of the monastery didn't change immediately. People continued to gossip and engage in petty behavior, but the disciple's perception had transformed. What had once seemed overwhelming now felt insignificant, and he found a new strength and clarity within himself. This ancient story offers us a profound lesson about focus, inner peace, and resilience. Like the young disciple, we live in a world filled with distractions. In our workplaces, communities, and even among friends and family, we may encounter gossip, negativity, and toxicity. These distractions can weigh us down, sapping our energy and focus. Yet, as the Master showed, the key to peace is not found in escaping these situations, but in cultivating a mindset that allows us to remain undisturbed. The real path to inner peace lies in our ability to focus on what truly matters to us and let the rest fade away. Life will always present challenges, and there will always be people who act out of negativity. But by staying grounded in our own purpose and refusing to be swayed by others' actions, we can navigate life with strength and calmness. When we dedicate ourselves to our personal growth and goals, the negativity around us becomes just background noise. The more we focus on our path, the less power we give to the distractions, allowing us to live with resilience and grace. This story reminds us that true peace is found not in the absence of noise, but in the strength of our own focus. As we go through our days, let us remember the lesson of the spoon and water. We have the power to choose what we focus on. Rather than being swayed by the actions of others, let us keep our attention on what is meaningful, cultivating our own peace from within. In this way, just as the disciple discovered, we can experience life with calmness, purpose, and a deeper sense of peace, no matter what happens around us.